GiveZ and version2.ai are solving nonprofit fundraising's biggest challenges by building the world's first fully autonomous fundraiser and digital gift documentation management system.
This is Matt from MGMT Boston, and on this episode of The Lantern, we have Anuj, the growth expert in residence at Techstars Boston. So he has a long, successful career of growing companies, advising companies on growth, and participating to the growth of the Boston ecosystem. So Anuj, I'm really excited to have you here. Thanks for having me to your temporary office today.
Oh no, stoked, completely stoked to be here.
First and foremost, what are you working on as you think about your portfolio of things, and what should we know about sort of, being a growth expert here in Boston?
Oh boy. Can I just say I hate the word expert, but yeah, so part of my time is of course with Techstars. Unsurprisingly, Techstars, like every accelerator, has cohorts that come through,
Right.
And that is one of my responsibilities is to evaluate what is their biggest challenge at the moment.
Sure.
Some startups are pre-product market fit, some are post. They all have very unique challenges.
Right.
I can't BS my way with some generic advice for them. Everyone is so unique. So that's a very fun and interesting challenge to work across the portfolio.
Definitely.
And it's not just while they are in session, after the fact as well. We have dedicated channels for ongoing support with them. They say it's Techstars for life, and that's true.
Very cool. And growth has changed a lot, right? We are now in the age of AI.
Totally.
Social media platforms are maybe saturated, maybe not. When you think about advising companies on growth, or even just getting a growth engine up and running, like how do you talk about that with startups?
So this is a great question because I've recently started talking about it very differently than the way I have been. You're of course right to reference AI, right? But I think the way they've been talking about AI, and when I say they, I mean just the general noise
Sure.
you hear, is it's very product focused, like a product with AI or supercharged with
Right.
AI. But I don't think that's its true power in driving growth. Its transformational power is in how it becomes a foundational layer for accelerating decision making and execution, because I think we would agree that all things being equal, the company that moves the fastest wins.
Sure.
And I think that is its true power as a growth driver. So I've been trying to push that message a lot more in creating better workflows, connecting up more workflows to make that happen, so we can actually do the task of learning what works and what doesn't work for us that
Right.
much faster.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there a recent example or case study that stands out where maybe an AI company, for example, has grown quite effectively that you would pass back?
I found that trying to find examples like this give us incomplete information.
Sure.
So I'm starting to pull from how individuals use this and being able to extrapolate that
Sure.
to how do we use this as a company. So as a simple example, being able to have a workflow that allows you to have a standard set of responses based on input, which doesn't require your intervention, which can then kick off a whole separate workflow.
Right.
Right. But that manual act of reviewing what did somebody say, and I know I always say these 5 things. So which of these 5 things apply, right? We don't need to be in the middle of that.
Right.
We can just automate that decision. So,
Yeah.
so that's an example of something which starts off small at an individual basis, but when you extrapolate what that means at
Right.
a company-wide level, now you see how much less time we're doing non-value added work and doing more of the work that actually matters.
And that goes to your point of speed, certainly.
Absolutely.
Now, across your, decades, if I will, experience in growth, what are some of those learnings, maybe timeless learnings, that you would pass back to members of the community, whether that's founders just starting out, established founders, up-and-coming operators, et cetera?
So my favorite question for any team I work with is, are we smarter this week than we were last week?
Sure.
Right? Because I keep getting asked this question of,
Right.
what's the growth hack? Right? Everybody's looking for a silver bullet, and there is none, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? But if there is one that comes close, it is your rate of learning. And it's not just at an individual level,
Right.
it's at a company-wide level. Because when people talk about momentum, what is that? It's our ability to do more of the things that grow a business.
Right.
How do you do that? You spend more time learning. You spend more time learning quickly, right? And that's how we grow. So I think if you take away nothing else, every Monday, you and your team ask yourself and be intellectually honest about, are we smarter this week, than we were last week? And if not, figure out what you need to do to make that happen.
Definitely. That's good advice. And last but not least, how can we help you? How can we help the Techstars growth practice? How can we help you grow yourself as an operator and advisor? What can we do to help?
So one thing I find unconscionable is that despite people like you, me, everybody else in the ecosystem around, that the startup failure rate is still as high as it is.
Sure.
It's stupid, right? And that should not be the case.
Yes.
Right. I'm always open, for these ad hoc conversations with people, or if people want to do more than ad hoc, to be that resource they wouldn't otherwise know about and access. Right. This doesn't have to be transactional all the time.
Right.
Right. Because ultimately, I think we are in this community, and I think we got to kind of help each other. Sometimes that becomes monetary, sometimes that doesn't. But I don't think that should mean we should be afraid to, or should stop us from reaching out to people. So I'm always open to nerd out, with anybody here.
Yes. This is Anuj from Techstars and beyond. Matt from MGMT Boston in this episode of The Lantern. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.